first, we're going to talk about The Legend of Zelda. So, The Legend of Zelda, released in 1986 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, follows a young hero named Link on a quest across the Kingdom of Hyrule, rescue Princess Zelda. Any of this sounding familiar? From the evil Ganon. After Zelda breaks the magic Triforce of Wisdom into 8 pieces to keep it out of Ganon's hands, Link must explore forests, mountains, lakes, and hidden dungeons to recover the fragments, battle monsters, and grow stronger with new weapons and tools. The game became famous for its open ended exploration, allowing players to discover secrets and tackle challenges in their own order, helping establish many of the adventure game conventions that would define the series and influence gaming for decades. Um, I have so many thoughts. Like, obviously, I've played this game a million times. I think most Nintendo fans have. I already told my story about how growing up, I knew that entering Zelda for the file name did something, but I didn't know what. So I spent like most of my childhood actually playing the second quest because I didn't know that's what it did. I just knew it was a cheat. I didn't know what the cheat did. So that's a core memory I have. How about you? How do you think about this game?
I don't have as many core memories, but I've certainly played this game quite a bit, and I'm not an expert in this game at all. Um, s- uh, like, there's a lot of things I just kind of forget about this
Hmm.
game, and overall, I kind of think about how should I start talking about it because everything that could be said about this game has been said many, many times in the past. My overall feeling then is that it's a game that I don't think has aged well, but it's a game that I
Hmm.
have so much respect for. I think it's one of the most important Nintendo titles, period. So that's
Yeah,
my
when you
feeling.
say that there's things people forget about it, one thing that I think people forget a lot is that the different tunics go all the way back to the original one. People mostly associate that with Ocarina of Time getting the red tunic and the blue tunic, but they're here in the original NES Zelda. It the red tunic makes you take half damage, and then the blue tunic makes you take a quarter damage. So they're in. It's a very light blue. It's not like the one in Ocarina of Time, but it's still there. So I think that's interesting. Um, and then also another thing that I think about with this game is this is another one of the NES games that I never finished it in the original run. I think the first time I finished this game was on the Game Boy Advance, where they did that Nintendo Classics line. It's definitely the first time I finished Adventure of Link. And I think it's the first time I finished this one as well. And like you said about aging, I have a similar note. I wrote this game has simultaneously aged well and not aged well at all. I feel like the gameplay uh, ages okay, but the visuals, even by NES standards, are not that great. Um, that that just got better from here. And the gameplay, it's got a very high difficulty level, but when I say gameplay, I'm talking about just like exploring a map and collecting things. That that part aged okay, but yeah, I agree. There are definitely some cracks in the foundation here.
I feel like I have to just be very, very careful and preface everything when I'm talking about any sort of Zelda game. It's like just like listen, like I think it's a great game. I think it is, but it's the first one, and I think that Nintendo took everything that worked well with Zelda on the NES and they made Link to the Past. And I think that's why Link to the Past is such an incredible game. I think this game, one, it's too cryptic for just for different parts of it. Like I think Zelda is great as a as a franchise. I think it's the best when it's consequential. When you solve something, when you figure something out, and then you feel good about figuring that out. On Zelda
Yeah.
NES, I feel like there's too many times where you're like, just move this block over here and unlock the door. Or just put the
Yeah.
bomb over next to this wall that looks exactly like every other part of the wall. Right? Like that obviously changed because now it's like, oh, if you see a crack in the wall, of course that's where you put it. Uh, like of course, but there's just too many parts still where I think like if you didn't know, like then you might not know, and then if you find out, then I might not feel good about finding out from a guide or a video or whatever it might be. And I go back to this is a much better game for I think a kid in the 80s that has the entire summer, just instead of now where most likely you get stuck, you pull out your phone, you look up a YouTube video on it, okay, cool, and then you go back and you play it. So that's where I am. Listen, like it was a proof of concept perhaps. I there's a reason why I think games like Link to the Past and Link's Awakening are so good, and it's because we had a game like this to start off. And it was huge initially. It sold over 1 million copies the first day it came out. It sold over 6 million in its lifetime. So it was a massive success for Nintendo, and it gave Nintendo a clear direction because in the beginning there was a lot of different games and franchises and characters they tried, and it's very interesting to hear about the overall development of it. Like I just saw on Yahoo the other day they brought up an interview with Miyamoto in 1994 where they talk about how um, they were working on Mario and Zelda simultaneously, but when Mario was done, they brought over developers from Mario to finish the Zelda game, which I thought was really
Mhm.
cool. Like it was kind of like an all hands on deck. Like everybody's got to pitch and everybody's got to like get these games out. But I always knew that they were working on the games at the same time.
Going back to what you said about the difficulty level, I think this was a thing at the time where they were trying to push both Nintendo Power and the Nintendo Hotline. I think along with like Castlevania 2 and a lot of like other really cryptic games at the time, Adventures of Lolo is one of them. I think they were intentionally making games almost impossible to figure out on your own. It's the conspiracy theorist in me really thinks they wanted you to dial that number.
I think they wanted to create a connection with
Mhm.
other gamers. Like it was so intentional at the time, and it was meant to be like you have to like go out, you have to go to school and talk to your friends about it. You have to talk
Yeah.
to others about this game, and that's how we get others to play this game. And that was being social before social media. I think you're absolutely right with that, but the non-conspiracy part is that's the part that I would add. Um,
Well, yeah, I even remember it's a different game, but same premise. When A Link to the Past was out, I knew A Link to the Past so well that friends would call me and be like, "Hey, Kevin, I'm at this part and I don't know what to do. What do I do here?" And over the phone, I was the Nintendo hotline. I would walk them through it, and like, yeah, and the playground conversations too, the cafeteria conversations. It definitely kept people talking about Nintendo.
right. And I think difficulty. I've played through it enough. I think it ramps up a lot as far as combat goes. Around five, or around like dungeon five or so. Um,
Yeah,
Dark Nuts
Dark
are
Nuts. Yep.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate Dark Nuts and I hate Wizrobes. I hate Wizrobes more just
You've always hated Wiz Robes.
because they're creepy. More because they're creepy. Dark Nuts are just very difficult in this game. So I think like of course like level scaling and difficulty scaling was very different back then. But yeah, I think it gets way more difficult in the second half of this game to the point where you might not be totally ready for it. Um, Overall, like it's for sure an experience that I think all Zelda fans or anyone interested in the franchise should have. I think everyone should invest, especially with save states now, just invest
Hmm.
putting time
And Rewind.
into actually playing through it. It's also it's also a pretty good time if you sit down with like a YouTube guide and you just kind of go through it. If you want to do it that way as well. So it's still a very worthwhile experience to understand the history, and it certainly takes you back. It like even if you weren't like me, even if you weren't around during that time when it came out, you can kind of imagine what the times were like, you know, back when people used to draw maps and yeah, just
Yeah.
talk to their friends about how they beat these games. So again, like what else can we say about it? We are sitting in the Animal Crossing world right now. This is the 10th NES game that we have reviewed that was featured on the Animal Crossing GameCube. This one was a special event only. I swear that I had it. So maybe I had the event, but I don't know anymore. Or maybe I had the action, or maybe it was featured in the action replay
Well,
that I had
going back to
eventually.
the game FAQs thing I mentioned earlier, I remember on game FAQs you could get item codes that you would take. That was the only Animal Crossing game that had this, where you could go. I think it was at the museum. No, it must have been at the town hall. Either way, you would give them codes, and they would give you the item that corresponded to that code, and that's how I would get almost all the NES games.
Hmm, okay.
So maybe you had that code.
Okay, yeah, yeah, maybe it was either that or I knew I had like the action replay like later on for GameCube, which messed up your whole save file. So it might have been something like that. So 10th NES, that's not as important, but overall for spotlights, let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. This is the 10th or 11th Zelda game that we've done for a spotlight review. I say 10 for 11th because we did Link to the Past Four Swords. Um, and if you count Oracle of Ages and Seasons, of course, both of those as well. So I'll go first, and then if you have anything else to say about this game, you can say it. This is number 30 for me overall. So I like to go through my list. Link to the Past, number 2. Link's Awakening DX4, Ocarina of Time 7, Minish Cap 14, Majora's Mask 15, Oracle of Ages 22, Oracle of Seasons 23, Link to the Past Four Swords 28, then Zelda NES 30, and I have Adventure of Link last at 42, which is still very high on this list. So, yeah. How about
Yeah,
you?
I'll go through mine. So my lowest one is also Adventure of Link at 88. I then had Game Boy Advance Legend of Zelda Link to the Past plus Four Swords at 79. I because I think the controls were why I ranked that one so low. The Game Boy Advance only had the two buttons and the two shoulders. It wasn't as good. Uh, Next is this game. I ranked this at number 64. Nintendo 64. The Legend of Zelda puts it right in between Star Fox 2 and Mario Golf. Uh, and then the rest of the Zeldas we've reviewed are like in my top 10. Number 9 is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Number 8 is Ocarina of Time. Number 6 is Minish Cap. Number 4 is Majora's Mask. And my number one game is A Link to the Past so far. So I need some more top 10 games, but it's not up to me. It's up to the games. They got to be good enough.
All right. I think I give a lot of benefit, a lot of leeway to the fact that it's a Zelda game. Uh, because I
Yeah.
guess because I guess Adventure of Link, if it's any other franchise, it's probably in the hundreds for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm probably not giving it as
It's
much
nostalgia for me
time.
cuz I played it as a kid a lot. So, yeah, there's definitely other games in here that I have ranked higher than they should be from nostalgia.
Right, right. Okay, okay. Wow, wow. We need to figure out. Okay, we'll do it later on in the future. Oh, I guess we do have. Um, shoot, Wind Waker.
Yep,
Yes.
we have
Yeah,
Wind
yeah,
Waker
yeah, yeah,
left.
yeah. Wind Waker. So we do have Wind Waker that we can still do, but that's
And
it.
by the time we get to that, they'll probably have Twilight Princess on there.
Hopefully, but if not, um, once we finish the Zelda games on here, then I think we just need to add the other ones eventually. We'll just do it separately after that. We'll just do like
Yeah,
some of the other
bonus
Zelda
something. Yeah.
games because it would be super cool if we could just do all of them eventually.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because we're I mean we're over halfway now, so.